She fell to her knees on center court, and for a second the entire All England club just stopped breathing. Alexandra Eala, 21 years old, ranked number 32 in the world, had just done something no Filipino tennis player, man or woman, had ever done in the entire Open era. She had beaten defending Wimbledon champion Iga Świątek 7-6, 6-2 on the most famous tennis court on the planet. If you're Filipino, drop it in the comments right now, because you need a second before you hear everything that happened out there. Let's set the stakes first, because you need to understand exactly who Eala was walking into this match against. Swiatek was the reigning Wimbledon champion. 1 year earlier she'd won this exact tournament by beating Amanda Anisimova 6-0, 6-0 in the final without dropping a single game. She's a multiple Grand Slam winner across every surface, grass, clay, and hard court. And she already had history with Eala. Back in March 2025, at the Miami Open, Eala upset her 6-2, 7-5 in the quarterfinal, part of a run that also took down Madison Keys and Jelena Ostapenko. Swiatek answered a month later, beating Eala 4-6, 6-4, 6-2 at the Madrid Open. So walking into July 4, 2026 on center court, the head-to-head sat at 1 win apiece. This wasn't a nobody catching a champion cold. This was a rematch both of them knew mattered. The first set alone lasted 84 minutes. That's not a set, that's a full fight. Both players held serve early, refusing to give an inch, until Eala broke through in the 8th game and served for the set at 5-3. 1 game away. And then Swiatek did exactly what defending champions do. She broke straight back, leveled it at 5-5, and dragged the whole thing into a tiebreak. That tiebreak is where this match turned into an instant classic. Eala raced out to a 5-2 lead in the breaker, 1 point away from cruising the set. Then Swiatek reeled off 4 straight points to flip it, reaching set point at 6-5. 1 forehand, and the entire momentum of the match could have changed forever. She went for it. She missed. Eala survived the set point, and from there the two of them traded point after point until it was 9-9, the whole crowd frozen. Eala closed it out 11-9 in the tiebreak, sealing the first set after an hour and 24 minutes of the highest quality tennis of the tournament. You could see it on Swiatek's face at the changeover. Frustration, disbelief. This is a woman who has lifted 6 Grand Slam trophies, and she looked shaken. Then Eala walked out for set 2 and took the air out of the match completely. She broke to love to open the set, held, broke again for 3-0, and broke a third time to go up 4-0 against the defending champion. Swiatek clawed 1 break back to make it 4-2, refusing to fold completely, but Eala answered immediately, held her nerve through a brutal final game filled with deuce after deuce, and finally closed it out on her 3rd match point with a forehand winner that sent center court into a full standing ovation. Final score, 7-6, 9, 6-2, in 2 hours and 14 minutes. The numbers show just how one-sided that second set really was underneath all the drama. Swiatek finished with roughly double the unforced errors Eala made. Eala won 68% of the points played on Swiatek's second serve, a brutal number against a former world number 1, and broke her serve multiple times across the 2 set. The head-to-head between them now sits at 2-1 in Eala's favor. Then came the on-court interview, and this is the moment that's going to live in Philippine sports history forever. Eala stood there, voice cracking, eyes already wet, and said that for someone like Swiatek, who has won so many Grand Slams, or someone like Serena or Venus Williams, a moment like this might look small. But for a girl who grew up in the Philippines, who trained after school with her brother and her grandfather, this is everything. And then, almost in the same breath, still crying, she pulled herself together and said the line that's already all over social media, that just because she's emotional doesn't mean she's satisfied. That single sentence tells you everything about who this competitor is. She lets herself feel it fully, and she's already thinking about the next round. Stitched into the back of her visor all tournament in Tagalog was a 6-word phrase that translates to once it grows, it cannot be stopped. She said it in her press conference before the match even happened. She wore it into the biggest win of her career. Here's the part that actually puts this whole run into perspective. Before this year's Wimbledon, Eala had played 6 Grand Slam main draws in her career and owned a losing record in almost all of them. Just this past January, at the Australian Open, she was bageled 6-0 in the first set on her way to a first-round loss, her third first-round exit at a major. 12 months before that, her ranking sat outside the top 100. And now here she was, seeded 29th at Wimbledon for the first time in her life, the first Filipino player ever seeded at this tournament, having climbed over 100 ranking spots in a single year and having just won her first grass court title in Birmingham weeks before the tournament began. She opened her Wimbledon run by beating Renata Zarazua in the first round without dropping her serve once, then battled back from a set down to beat Maya Joint, the same player who had knocked out Serena Williams just 2 days earlier. And then she took down the defending Wimbledon champion herself. With this win, Eala became the first Filipino player, male or female, to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam in the entire Open era. Not the deepest run of her career, the deepest run any Filipino has ever made at a major, period. Her grandfather, Roberto Bobby Maniego, the man she still calls Lolo Bob, was the one who put a racket in her hand at age 4 and coached her himself before she ever left home for Spain at 13 to train at the Rafael Nadal Academy. He isn't here to see any of this, but every time she refuses to give up in a match, every time she claws back from a set down or survives a set point in a tiebreak, it's still him out there with her. That's the story behind the scoreline. That's why an entire nation stayed up past midnight, and why, for one night on center court, a 21-year-old from Quezon City made history that no Filipino athlete, in any sport at this level, had ever made before.